Subscribers, your video is ready. Hello, LGBTQ plus DL men, women who secretly love us and support us. And if you don't identify with any of those labels, you're still free to subscribe to the channel. So as you can see, there are chicken wings on this plate that aren't vegan. And so there's kind of this need to be open with the people that are subscribing. After I did my fast, I started eating meat again. And I actually ate meat on Christmas. And the plan was You know, sometimes God can deconstruct your plan. If he's not wanting it for you, he's just not wanting it for you. But I actually ate meat on Christmas Day. So I made a cake yesterday. At least I tried to make a cake. It looks pretty good. It's a pound cake, lemon pound cake. It's sunken in the middle, but it looks good. And then I made some pasta salads. I made a turkey. Well, I actually cooked the turkey. I didn't make it. Dressing. They call this giblet gravy or jitly gravy. Mac and cheese. More giblet gravy. Sweet potatoes. Some cabbage. And a ham. Now, before, I'm sorry to the subscribers that, were under the impression that I was going totally raw vegan. And that was the intention. But this video is kind of going to give you a deep explanation, sort of experience about why I had started eating meat again. There's actually already a video kind of stating that I'm eating meat again or something like that. But this particular video, I'm going to sort of explain reasoning behind that. And I'm going to open with this line or this explanation. You remember how I told you, or I identify as a twin flame, or the divine feminine within the collective of twin flames. And I don't think that some people understand the connection enough to understand that whatever your twin flame is experiencing, you may also have symptoms that arrive in your body to understand not only what your twin is experiencing, but the rest of the collective as well. And I mean the collective of mankind and womankind. Dogs, everything. Everything is everything. So, let me just give you an example. You probably are familiar with me speaking about my diagnosis of Crohn's disease and with also having the diagnosis of a genital wart in the year 2013. Now, When I became vegan in the year of 2020, and I was doing a lot of fasting, I was also discovering what teachings from Dr. Sebi. And Dr. Sebi was saying that after 90 days, you can start consuming electric foods, they call it, or like healing foods to actually heal the area that is affected by whatever type of virus or like a disease. And so when I started fasting and I started eating, healthier, I seen significant health benefits. Now, I do want to tell you that HPV, the human papillomavirus or genital warts, can exit the body or leave the body within 2 years. And I've said that in many videos. And also, when I've been to the hospital in the most recent time, which was, I think it was 2021. Yes, they were kind of confused as to why I was being brought to the hospital. Besides the fact of me just simply being dehydrated at that time, and I'm going to sort of explain that too. Fucking this chicken up, girl. Now, I'm going to say this. I know that the title is, I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to title this because I'm not sure what information I'm going to allow in this particular video, because there may be like two videos, just because there's some other information that I want to put in this video. But during my fasting journey, there was this period of time when my thinking, it was so hard thriving. And there was like this period in my experience, and when I say period, like I mean like a time frame within my experience where I experienced some teachings from Ralph Smart, where Ralph Smart had said to see how long you can go without releasing. So I was doing semen retention. And I was also doing these sleeping practices where I was sleeping for like maybe like sometimes 15 minutes or 20 minutes, like a nap. But sometimes my idea of being awakened and awake, it was kind of distorted. And what I mean by that is that I thought the idea of being awake meant that you actually didn't sleep. Like you didn't allow your your body to rest. And the idea of being awake is that the soul, you are connecting with your soul. So it's that soul connection. Some people think that it means something totally different, because some people think that being awake is about being aware of how black people are being treated versus other races, and how certain races are being treated within other races. And it is that is a part of being awake. That is a part of being conscious, like being consciously aware that what we have been led to believe is a assimilation or a matrix. You awaken to the actual experience. And I sort of thought that being awake kind of meant that you stayed awake. So my sleeping practices were maybe 15 minutes or 20 minutes, or sometimes I would stay up for longer periods of time. And because I was fasting, my experience to being able to do that was I was able to be very conscious and very awake. I was able to be awake for longer periods of time. So sometimes certain foods can make you sluggish, but I'm going to get into that. Hold on. Now, there may be some of you that are like, we were believing in you. We were all believing in you, like Tyra Banks, you know.
I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. How dare you? Learn something from this.
You know, there was like a feeling of guilt around returning to eating meat, but just continue to listen, and after you have watched this video, then you can truly make your decision on whether you want to judge me. But I want to say this. I was speaking about, you know, during my fasting period and down there, I think it was just hard, and it was kind of like there was no need for the blue pill in the sense of, you know, when it came to intimacy, but I wasn't being I hadn't really been intimate with another person since the year of, it probably was 2019. And the reason that I say that is because the guy that did eat he ate the cookie, he ate the box, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't a genuine want to do it. So the actual interaction that I had where it was, you know, we actually was doing it. It was with my partner, my fiance, the guy that I was intending on marrying. And that happened in the year of 2019. Now, from my awareness of what I remember there being an interaction with another guy, but I'm not sure when that exactly happened. I just know who it happened with. Now, because, you know, sometimes when people leave a relationship, they be like, oh, I'm gonna find me some new thing online, and, you know, then they are intimate with another person. I'm not sure if that happened in 2020, or I'm sure it didn't happen in 2020, but I'm not sure. But back to what I'm saying, right? I'm sure that it kind of happened. I'm sure that it happened in the year 2019. Just not sure this time frame during the separating from my partner when it happened. So when I was doing a lot of fasting and eating healthier, and I heard Dr. Sebi, you know, say that even as a 70-year-old man that when he ate, you know, certain foods, he began to see a change in, I guess, do you call it a libido? I was supposed to look up that word. I might look it up later. But he didn't need a blue pill. He didn't need the Viagra. Because it was just standing up. And so I was practicing to see how long I could hold, you know, my semen, like semen retention. And then I got to a place where it was actually like, I think it was almost 4 months. It probably was 4 months that I had not released. And so that was it was like tension in that area to, you know, at some point I started releasing in my dreams. I don't even think I started releasing within my resting of my body. My body started releasing in my sleep. So when I was experiencing that, right? And also trying to eat healthier. And I was eating healthier at that time. And I was very connected. And so I had, you know, started to lose weight. I was at one point, you know, 252 pounds, and then I lost weight. So I was in the 100s, you know, and it had been a long time before I was, it had been a long time since I had been under 200 pounds. So my family seeing that, and then I started losing so much weight to the point where it started to look as if I was doing some type of, I guess, can you call it an inhibitor to lose weight. It looked like I was, how y'all say some people are on Ozempic, it looked like I was doing a drug to lose the weight, but I wasn't. I had even stopped smoking Mary Jane. I had stopped drinking alcohol, but I started back, but I had stopped drinking alcohol. And and this was all in the year of 2020. And then within the year of 2020, my twin actually, him and I separated. So I actually, it's kind of like with the man that I was intending on marrying. It's almost as if that relationship didn't affect me. When I say affect, right? I had already in my mind kind of released the relationship. And I would say that with my twin flame, in the year of 2020, going into separation, I'll put it this way, going into separation with my twin flame was more, it was difficult to understand more than it was difficult to understand my partner that I was in a relationship prior to meeting my twin flame. And now getting on to that topic, I want to say that even if you and your twin flame are separated and are having no contact and things like that, you're still experiencing them. And because of that, it kind of was difficult for me to understand what was the point of separation. But, both divine feminine and divine masculine have to heal within their own experience, although they are both whole and complete beings. So with not being intimate, and the reason that I brought up, I had been intimate, with another person since 2019, and my sleeping was different, and my eating habits were different. It was still kind of this mental experience that I was experiencing after my family didn't understand how to receive me experiencing what I was experiencing, because they thought that I was depressed over experiencing the separation with my soulmate partner that I was intending on marrying. Because me and my twin flame were connected, right? Whenever something is being experienced with them in their body, we may have symptoms, and you heard me say that earlier. Well, prior to me understanding that he was in a relationship, I had already received information about it psychically, because we psychically share a bridge. And I also want to say this. I was bringing up my diagnosis of 2013 because let's say, for example, if I was experiencing a wart or something like that, in my twin's experience, he could have a itchy pussy cat or itchy booty hole. I was saying pussy cat because I'm used to saying it, but he could have an itchy booty hole, but it would be I'm just saying this for an example, right? Because he doesn't have warts, but I'm saying if I did, within his experience, because we are connected, we are divine partners, he could have metaphysical experiences allowing him that feeling within his body. So, within my experience, everything that is connected with him, or things that he experiences, if I'm having a day where I'm just feeling if I'm feeling sadness, I have to decipher or discern whether these are my feelings, or are they my twin's feelings, or are they a part of the collective's feelings. And oftentimes I realize that this is why mediums don't work at these jobs or these manufacturing jobs, because experiencing this is already a job. Not really a job, but it's already a part of our experience, and it can be difficult. So I was watching a video on TikTok, and when I came across this video, I had realized that I saw another video that was similar to it, with the almost the exact same information. And when I saw it, I said, "Wow, there has to be some truth behind this information, because it's not the first time that I'm hearing it." But I'm going to play the clip for you guys now.
Boy. When I say the plot thickens, oh, I don't know, y'all gonna be ready for this. And I know those religious people, the different religious groups are going to despise this video. They're gonna hate it because it's gonna go against everything they've been teaching people. But let's dive right into it. So I don't know if y'all knew this, but the so-called God or the creator of this world, this earth, this prison, aka the devil, was actually not the beginning and the end, but was actually created by a celestial being called Sophia. Yes, that's right. God himself, the creator, has a mother, Sophia Pettis. She created him and realized that God, our creator, this evil entity, was an abomination. And because of that abomination, she cast God down to the abyss, surrounded by void and darkness, aka let there be light. Y'all remember that saying in the Bible, let there be light? Because when you think about it, when he said let there be light, what was there before the light? Darkness. He was surrounded by darkness. She sent him away. Again, because he was an abomination. And when God, the creator of this realm and this world, and the creator of Adam and Eve, when he opened his eyes and realized or believed that he was by himself, because when he looked around, it was nothing but darkness. It was just him. He assumed that he was the beginning and the end. Think about it. I am that I am, or I am God. There is no other like me. He believed that because he didn't see any other entity. He did not know other beings and celestial beings existed. And it states in the banned book of Adam that he was naive and he became very arrogant when he said those words. And when he said those words, it was blasphemous. How can God ever be blasphemous? This is deep. And because he did not want to be alone, he created what y'all call earth, a prison. Why you think he said earth is his footstool? Do the research on what footstool is. He created a prison and then created us, human beings, to be his slaves. And trust me, this is just the beginning. Wow, earth is really hell. And now it's starting to make a lot of sense of why we talk about a divine feminine energy, because based on the book of Adam, it talks about this divine feminine energy. So sure enough that we have to look at things from the perspective of yin and yang, and we have to look at it from a perspective of positive and negative. Now in the banned book of Adam, it talks about us having a spirit and a soul, yin yang, or positive negative. Because when humans only had a soul that God put inside of Adam, Adam did not rise up. That did not create a living being. But when the divine feminine energy, a pure spirit feminine energy hovered over the body of Adam and then manifested itself inside of Adam, then Adam rose. And when he woke up, he said, you are the divine one, and you You shall be called the true mother. It gets deep, man. It gets really, really deep, y'all.
I'm going to come back and speak about this information, but right now I want to say that when I started discovering it, actually, I'm going to speak about it now, right? Or, okay, the ancestors are telling me to speak about the other experiences that I had that's kind of leading me up to why I started back eating meat, right? Well, my family thought I was unwell, right? Because, in most African American families, if you aren't partaking in eating meat and eating, you ain't eating fried chicken, like, take them to the doctor, you ain't eating fried chicken. But no, seriously, nah, they were more concerned, right? And I understood that, but I also was receiving messages that if you are rising in consciousness, there are going to be people that are trying to bring you to lower your consciousness. And I was like, seeing everybody as like, you're not going to do that. I'm very powerful. Kind of like, I don't want to compare it to anything. Just say like that was the experience, right? And that's what I was kind of thinking at that time. And I also had a family member that was, that has a business and mediumship, and there was some type of intervention after they, had the cops called and things like that. And I spoke about it in a recent, or not maybe a recent video, but there's a video on this page of me speaking about these things. But she was saying, eat the meat, eat meat, because, they were thinking that I was just, not wanting to communicate with them and things like that. But I was in this place of like understanding the matrix and understanding how if you allow a person to help you, there's also something that you have to do for the universe in order to, receive your your gifts and things like that. When I say gifts, like receive your manifestations, like when you give, there's taking, and when there's taking, there's giving. But it's all a balance of that happening, and how you allow people to experience you is ultimately what you receive in some type of way, right? And so during that time, I was also in a place of when you are a medium, kind of so that you have an understanding, you can, they have this thing where some coaches or mediums will say, don't give your power away. And how I was thinking of that, how some people will or can give their power away is by, they'll be overly nice. And there's a difference between nice and kindness. And I was understanding that, And sometimes when people are at a certain level of consciousness, they will what else I want to say? You know how they say the devil's at play and stuff like that when you're trying to, like, and I'm going to use this as an example because I want people to kind of understand what I'm saying. When Will Smith in the Chris Rock accident happened at the was it the Grammys? The Oscars. When the Oscars slap happened with Chris Rock and Will Smith. Hold on, because I'm having some pain in my body from spirit. After it happened, you seen that Will Smith kind of was sometimes you have to be aware of not only like there was so much that happened within that experience that I seen there was like spiritual interaction, because when you are being gifted with something, like he was being he won an award, and then in that same instance he was triggered by what a comedian was saying, and that was kind of a test for Will Smith, and he had a reaction to it instead of having instead of being able to respond. And that's when we need stillness. And so anyway, when I would experience people's aggravation or agitation with me being in what I thought was stillness, because I thought that stillness was kind of like similar how to when people say how I was speaking about what was I just speaking about? How I was speaking about being awake. I thought that stillness meant I thought that that's what it meant. All right? And so when people were experiencing me, there was just like, I wish he'd stop with that dumbass shit. It's basically how people were perceiving that experience. But a lot of times, I was consciously aware of what people were saying. It wasn't that I, was, some people say he's going crazy, but a lot of people also say that in order to fully be awake and conscious, you may look crazy. And that's how I was perceived. Anyway, when I went to jail or whatever, there was kind of that same type of way of being. When they asked me questions, the questions wouldn't align with truth for me. Like the guy in my hometown, one of the cops, he said he kind of smells like alcohol. And again, I had stopped drinking alcohol. And so when the other cop came onto the scene, he said, well, he's not drunk and he doesn't smell like alcohol. So experiencing that was kind of like, I became aware that there was this bigger experience happening. And the reason that I went to jail in 2020 was because I was trying to I was attempting to try to make things work with my twin flame, although they were in a relationship. I was going to walk to their place and ask them, could I stay with them, and like, meaning could I like be in their apartment with them, because at that time he had a new apartment and he was 30 minutes away and I was walking. I was going to walk like a 30-minute drive. I was going to walk it. And when I got about 15 minutes from this current town, I sat on a bench, and the property where I was at, it was said to be it was saying no trespassing, but I didn't see a no trespassing sign for the bench that I sat on, so I thought it was okay. After my family had called the cops and called the ambulance, I kind of saw them as the enemy for a while, because I was thinking, why would they call the cops? Because my great aunt was very concerned, because she thought that I don't know what she thought, but I understand why she thought what she thought. Like one time she told me that I could use her vehicle and then make sure I pick her up from work, and I didn't pick her up from work. And my grandma had came to the house to kind of see where her sister was after they got off from work, and she was like, where's her sister at? And I said, oh, well, she's at the job. She said, her vehicle here. I said, yeah, she told me that I could use it. but I didn't use it to pick her up. So anyway, after she had those experiences and I wasn't, she thought that basically I'm not being myself because I wasn't being kind by, if she was allowing me to use her stuff, then I would pick her up. But again, I started understanding how things would work with, hold on. I started understanding that when someone gives you type of like instructions on their property or on their things, there's also this kind of need to honor that. So she said that I could use her vehicle, and she said she didn't say anything about picking her up from her job. She didn't say anything about going to get her with her vehicle. So, that kind of sounds like inconsiderate because she was allowing me to drive her vehicle. But then again, I was trying to understand what I was receiving spiritually and what I was honoring about the things that I was learning. And again, I've heard from other spiritual teachers that when you have to release certain people that just aren't conscious enough to understand. But we're in a more healed experience with family members now than we were then. But I want to sort of go into the experience of what it was in jail in the year of 2021, because this is kind of give you a better explanation about why I'm eating meat again. When I went to jail in the year 2021, I'll speak about what the reason was again, which was stealing my mom's vehicle, because I had a great aunt that told me that her and my mom were speaking about about giving me her vehicle so that I would have a way to drive around, and because they would see me walking, I would walk everywhere. And when they would ask me that I need a ride from my family members, I would usually say no, because I was just in this place of I'm on my own in this experience, because I noticed how many other spiritualists were alone and, leaving their families and things like that. So I kind of took on this energy of I wouldn't say loneliness, because you still have your spirit team, you still have God that is, directing you through these experiences. But when I was experiencing people, even my family members, I kind of seen them as like I said, even other people, I was kind of like leery. I guess it's leery the word that I'm looking for. Anyway, because I got to get to the jail part. I'll just start there. I went to jail for stealing my mom's vehicle, but I didn't see it as stealing her vehicle because they were talking about giving me her vehicle. Anyway, when I still had my mom's key to her SUV, and there was something spiritual that happened, and the reason that the cops took me to jail was because there was a guy that hit the back of my mom's vehicle, which then pushed her vehicle into a Honda, and so it was a 3-car accident. She had already reported it stolen. So in jail, I was still trying to practice being vegan and raw vegan. And I had been fasting for like almost, I tried to fast for like a week or more than a week. And they had hospitalized me jail because they knew that I wasn't eating, and so they were trying to get my pee to be hydrated because I had I was directed by Spirit to not flush the toilet, and Spirit was actually helping me because my pee was very dark, and when I was drinking the water, even when I was drinking the water, I started to regurgitate it because it just wouldn't settle on my stomach because I mostly drink alkaline water, and that shift from alkaline to the top of the toilet sink water, the top of the toilet fountain water was just a huge change. Anyway, when they in the hospital in the year of 2021, they offered me a turkey sandwich because they saw that I was dehydrated. They offered me a turkey sandwich, and I finally spoke and told them because I had been, non-vocal with people that were interacting with me. And so when she was trying to give me the turkey sandwich, I was like, I said, no, I'm vegan. And so the cops that were there with me said, what's the difference between vegan and vegetarian? And so they were just trying to get more conversation. But it was after that, they had tried to give me like some Gatorade or something like that, like some orange juice. I was drinking orange juice, but I just didn't want I had the idea of processed foods, and I had heard about processed foods and how all of these things weren't good for you. And I thought that, oh, if I consume a little bit of that stuff, and then Rona was around. So I was kind of fearful of that, the contraction of that. And so to be in a more healthy state, first you have to be healthy spiritually, which means that you can't be fearful of these diseases that they have out there, but also there has to be some type of, I spoke about this in my video about having a covering, which means that you are protected by God, but that doesn't mean that you actually go towards trouble. And the reason that I say that is because in one of my videos, there is only like 5 views currently on it. I think something like that, 5 or 6, I think 6 views or something like that, where there was this alligator that this shaman was in the water, and it was kind of like patting the water, and like things like that kind of agitate an alligator, or it agitates the gator. So when he started swimming towards the alligator, he started swimming towards it. And that's when the alligator pulled him under, and kind of, I don't think it ate him. I think that it just brought him under the water and kind of, attacked the shaman. And so, yeah. Anyway, after that, Spirit was kind of like shut up because then they put a mask on me within the hospital. So that was kind of like a sign for myself when I experienced that. Anyway, when I didn't eat the turkey sandwich in the hospital, but when they took me back to jail after the hospital visit, because I didn't know it was my last day there or not, because I didn't know what my family was saying. Because like I said again, I kind of looked at them as the enemy, and plus because my mom didn't understand what I was going through, she had told that happened afterwards. Anyway, when they took me back to jail, I think I was still trying to fast. And again, they said that you can fast for 90 days and then start to eat. My idea of how to heal the body was fasting for 90 days and then eating electric foods, is what they call it, or foods that are that heal those certain parts of the body. And so I had already been fasting prior to being in jail in 2021. I had already been fasting for long periods of time. So I had some type of like scheduling with eating, and of course I wouldn't eat like so much at that time, but anyway, they were still bringing meat products and stuff like that in the jail cell. Because they kept bringing meat to the jail cell again in the year of 2021, I kind of felt like I wasn't being heard, because I had just told them, not only the hospital, but the cops that were around, that I was vegan. I felt as if I wasn't being heard. And I also felt as if I speak up again, it would be... I was kind of trying to understand, would they hear me then if I spoke about being a vegan again? Because they were there. They have the video footage of me saying it, because they wear the body cams. But anyway, because they were like, what's wrong with him? Why won't he eat? When we were at the hospital, I mentioned that, and I think that they put that on the paper. But anyway, so I think they put vegetarian, but I actually spoke about being vegan, and there were other people that got accommodations. So I wasn't sure if it was a test from God to see if I was going to continue honoring being vegan, or was it a test to advocate for myself and continue saying I'm vegan over and over again. And also within that experience, to bathe and to be granted the little toothbrush thing. I'm not even sure if it's for the toothbrush thing, but to be granted a regular utensil. They wanted these documents to be signed to basically admit that I was not trying to attempt. Can a person say, yeah, they wanted documents to be signed so that a person could admit that they weren't suicidal. But the reason that I wasn't signing those documents was because I felt judged by how I was presenting instead of... And I mean, of course they judge you because they're wanting to know whether you are or are not trying to attempt to unalive oneself. But when they kept kind of plus two, it kind of was like this game that was being experienced, because I kind of was like, I'm not going to let them win. They're not going to make me sign a paper, and I didn't identify with being a person that was trying to harm themselves. And even when I went to they then sent me to a jail psychiatric place to see if there was something mentally wrong or something mentally unstable. And so when they were traveling back to the jail, even the officers were saying, they was like, he doesn't really do anything. Like, cause I wasn't even moving. I wasn't even moving at that time. And when I say moving, like, they were putting me in the vehicles to transport me places and taking me out, because I felt as if I wasn't doing anything wrong. Even when they pulled me over, And so that's why I had this thought, right, that they were wanting me to advocate for myself, to say, that they were in the wrong. But by my mom had called and said the vehicle was stolen, I then had this realization that she wasn't intending on giving me the vehicle, but at the same time, she hadn't vocally said, "I'm giving you my vehicle." My great aunt had told me that she and her were saying that she was saying she was going to give me the vehicle, but she hadn't given it to me yet. So when they pulled me over and said that, this is a stolen vehicle, they weren't wrong with that. They were telling they weren't wrong with that, but in my mind, I considered them being wrong because my mom had talked about giving the vehicle to me. Anyway, I didn't know how much longer I was going to be in jail in the year 2021, and to already have been fasting for long periods of time, and then all of that experience just building up, it was already as if I kind of felt like I kind of felt like I wasn't being heard at that time. So then they had like the meat. They started bringing me like regular, she called it regular food, like, "I'll get you some good food." And the good food was, because I thought then, I didn't know if they were going to they actually started bringing like chicken biscuits and Pop-Tarts and things like that. And there were some days that I have some short videos where I actually was saying what they were doing, or how they were bringing the food and stuff. But to just shortly say, there were some days where they would put the food in the laundry basket, and sometimes pube hair and just hair from people's body and things like that will be inside of the tray. Disgusting. And also, something that I've learned or become aware of when eating meat or processed foods is that often you become more hungry when you eat processed foods and meats and things like that. And so it's kind of like I didn't know how long much more, I was going to be experiencing prison in the year 2021. And it had already been like over a couple of weeks. And thank God that I started eating, because I was in there for 4 months. And so when I was released on July 10th, 2020, and I got back home, the house that I am now, that I'm in now, when my mom and her boyfriend at that time, they brought like this hamburger steak around, and I kind of had to get adjusted to not hiding the fact that I was eating meat again. That's how I felt like I was kind of meant to do that. And so my great aunt, because the cops were telling them that I hadn't been mobile, like I hadn't been walking, I guess, because they did have me in a wheelchair at some point. But I was mobile, I was walking, and I kind of felt like they just had their perception of who I was without actually knowing me, And some people that said that they were trying to help, it seemed like they were trying to help for their own selfish reasons and things like that. But anyway, I kind of felt like there was a need for me to just accept what it was, like accept that moment or that experience, because I wouldn't say, like with stealing my mom's vehicle, it's my mom. Of course, I didn't have any negative intentions with stealing her vehicle. I had intentions of, and I told my cousin this recently, that there were intentions of building my own business to help get the entire, like, my family out of the mindset of not having enough to make enough and things like that. Because in most African American households, we often are led to believe things of the past. And when I say the past, like our ancestors, some of those ideas that don't serve us, like there is enough money, we are worthy, we are enough. And I was trying to build a business, and I didn't know where I was going to go, but I had to let Suzuki in the wind, honey. I had to say that sort of the reason why I also started to eat meat again was because for a long time I thought that Beyonce had completely went vegan, and I know that many people seen within her movie that she was speaking about eating some chicken and I guess or some fish or something like that. I hadn't seen the movie yet, but I did see some clips, and them speaking about that. But I also saw that some people were upset with her after she was vegan for like 2 weeks and then, quit being vegan and started eating meat again. And she was just like, y'all people that had that good fried chicken and that fried fish and food like that, she said, y'all just dangerous. And it's because, when you got a nice physique and stuff, and I had lost, I was 252 pounds and then went to 138 pounds. Anyway, getting back to what I was saying, sometimes spirit brings you to it breaks down your ideas of what is actually healthy, because and I don't want to actually like give a because, but I want to say that even with myself, when I was trying to be vegan and plant-based and things like that, I came across a video and realized that my twin is still eating meat and things like that. And like I said, we're connected, in the 5D. So speaking about, I didn't know if the experience that I was having near that was happening because of them or my family member. The reason that I say that is because oftentimes when I would start fasting again and when I would be eating very healthy, I would have these feelings that would happen down there were more present. And it's not that they don't happen when I eat meat, but it just seemed kind of like constricting on life and experiencing happiness when I'm fasting and when I say my sleeping patterns and things like that, to do all of those things again, just to lose weight. I'm not saying that it would be a bad thing to do it, but what I am saying is that it just seems like when I was trying to go back into that direction, or trying to do those things again, it's as if God was kind of pulling the plug on that type of going back into that direction. Like sometimes I would get these, like just recently, I got this pressuring feeling on top of my peen, like, and it's usually on the shaft, or sometimes it'll be on the head of the peen. I'm sharing some very vulnerable information, but at the same time, there could be another person that's experiencing this. So that's why I have been freely speaking about it. Sometimes it feels like itching around the peen head. And again, I've been to I've went to the ER in the year of 2020, and I went to the hospital in the year of 2021, and again they took blood samples, and even then, in the experience in 2020, although certain things won't show up in the blood, they also saw that I was very healthy, like all the levels in my body. And also, like I said, my most recent intimate interaction sexually with another partner was 2020, and besides that 2021, but we didn't get into having actual, I guess you could say, intercourse. But yeah, sometimes I question whether spirit is, you know, it almost, when I started having the experience, it felt like punishment for not being in union with my twin in the 3D. And so that idea kind of caused me to be, I guess you could say, resentful towards my twin. But I had to understand that I am whole and complete and have my own experience. And I had to kind of realize that the experience that I had with my family member that did that had nothing to do with them. I had to separate that in my mind. Yeah. But I didn't know if it was from stealing my mom's vehicle. I didn't know if they were saying, oh, well, you're going to have that experience because you stole your mom's vehicle, but I didn't see it as stealing my mom's vehicle. And I often think that, by communicating with them, it was kind of, for me, forgiving. Because again, I don't have a job at this moment. I don't have a vehicle at this moment. I have ways of getting to where I need to go and things like that. But I'm in the process of creating those things. And so, yeah, when you are experiencing certain spiritual things, it can seem as though you're not mentally healthy, but you are having a experience that is bringing you into realizing that you are healthy. And this is what I wanted to add. Because I am clairsentient, which means I have the clear ability to feel. Sometimes when people that have negative or have had negative intentions, or people that have certain type of negative feelings towards me, when they are around, I feel things within my body. And that happening often happens when that person is around, or sometimes it happens when they aren't around. And so that's why I didn't know if it was what they would call a psychic attack, or was it some type of what they call it, because I had the word, some type of some people call it a curse or a hex. And being that they called me a witch in the past, I didn't know if the universe was saying, yeah, you're a witch, so undo the curse, and things like that. But there is a such thing as karma. I do know that karma is such a true is such a true thing, that many beings that are connected to source, we can collect karma faster. But I think when people say that, I think that we often just become aware of our karma faster than other people. I think it's just perceived that we collect karma faster, but I believe every being collects their karma at the same rate. We just become aware of our karma faster than other people. And so, yeah. Yes. And say that shit with your chest. And okay, so y'all know at the beginning of my video, I had the little, subscribers, your video is ready. I think that would be a good idea for Miss Netta. Sure would. I'll probably add that in my video on Friday, because it's a special video on Friday. So if you like this video, interact with it, and then watch the video on Friday too, because there's some good stuff that'll be in there on Friday. Yeah. But when I got back home, because I ate the burger in front of my great aunt, she then perceived that I was eating meat again. And oh boy, when I started eating meat again, all of those, oh, you're so skinny, you done lost so much weight, all of those things from people just started going away, because it just seemed like, oh, like he's just back to his normal self. No, I'm very much still connected to source consciousness. I'm very much still aware of the conditioning that some people have experiencing their experience. But in reference to that video that we watched about Sophia, I had heard in the video about Sophia being I heard that actually Sophia was like basically our grandmother. But this is what I want to say. First, let's kind of finish up about me eating meat again. Because I have this connection to a divine counterpart and the rest of the collective, after I got back from jail, I was told by spirit to remain in the house, but I also was told that I was able to go to our other house because there are two houses. And so the guy was cutting grass outside, and my great aunt had went to the store. And anyway, I told this story already in another video. I had awakened to my penis being touched by a family member, and that video is on this page. Scooting a bit further, sometimes when I am disobedient, sometimes I'm reminded of that experience, or sometimes I'm reminded that my twin is with another partner and not me. And so I kind of was trying to understand, was that some people call them psychic attacks, or some people call them what do they call it? Some people call them because I was going to say some people call it just being disobedient and receive. Some people may call it different things, but what I will say to kind of wrap this portion up on the video is that when I was trying to eat more healthy and drinking alkaline water and trying to get back into my old habits as far as being very healthy, I kind of was experiencing pain in that area, and I wasn't for sure if it was related to the experience that I had with my with that family member touching my pain, or was it my divine partner. And my divine partner has had an experience medically in that area, and just to sort of explain what it feels like, sometimes the tip of the head of the peen will feel like, it would kind of feel like a crack, like if you've ever had like your skin feel like crackling, like when it's really ashy, or when the wind, like freezer burn. They call it freezer burn, but like when it's really cold outside, and it kind of like feels like your skin is cracking, like that, like your skin is like cracking from being ashy, from being outside, or a blister. Like, say for example, when I was speaking about HPV, right? If there was a sore on somebody's, if there was a sore on my twin's pain, right? Then I would have a metaphysical experience in my body. Or say if my twin, say if for example, if they had herpes and they had a sore on their lip, I would metaphysically experience it on my body. Like, and I wouldn't have the actual symptoms in the 3D reality. So my body wouldn't actually have the experience in the 3D body, but within the metaphysical experience, it would happen that way. And so I didn't know if it was connected to that experience, or if it was connected to the experience of that family member doing that. But at the same time, that experience I realized was a gift, because it allowed me to have a sort of discernment for if there is a client that has experienced something like that, and say if they come into get a reading, and I have that experience happen while we're in the reading, I can say, so do you have, has there been a past of a medical experience with that area? I could sort of discern whether they've had an experience like that with imagery and the feeling. Like that is the kind of sort of the job of a medium. So you may hear that oftentimes mediums experience certain they have experienced certain traumas that they've had to work through, and so that was kind of that experience. And now, at one time, she had this family member that did that had asked me to sue them, and at the same time, I have this idea that we are all one conscious collective, and when the body is no longer working and when the mind is ceased to work too, like when there's death, there we return back to source consciousness and just inhabit another body to have life again, so we can unlearn the things that we didn't learn in a lifetime. So with that being said, healing is a continuous thing. We continue to come back and heal the things that we didn't learn. And every soul is itself. And so this is where we're going to get into the part where, Sophia is technically our